watching Eagle News International. I'm Arnie Aquino reporting from Steveston Village in Richmond, British Columbia. Here are today's top stories. A large number of South Koreans take to the street again to appeal for impeaching President Park as soon as possible. Lantern shows across China gear up to celebrate Lantern Festival. Rouhani welcomes first bilateral talks with Swedish Prime Minister in Tehran. Followers of influential Shiite cleric rally for Iraq electoral reform. Venezuela, tensions high during opposition protests. Now for the story. Tens of thousands of South Koreans took to the street again in the capital city of Seoul to protest against President Park Geun-hye, appealing for impeachment as soon as possible. Local protesters once again gathered at the Gwanghwamun Square to protest. Holding candles, waving banners, and shouting slogans, the protesters called for immediate impeachment of President Park. Among the protesters were many congressmen and candidates applying for next presidential elections. Rallies and protests have been held almost every Saturday in the Gwanghwamun Square since the end of last October after Park's scandal was exposed by the local media. It was learned that millions of people have participated in the rallies and protests, chalking up a new record in the scale of candle protests in South Korea. At present, the impeachment case is being heard by the Constitutional Court. It is estimated that the final result will not be made public until mid-March. Lantern shows are all geared up across China recently to lighten up the night sky to celebrate the Lantern Festival on Saturday, which is the 15th day of the first month of the lunar calendar. In Yanliqing County, North China's Tianjin Municipality, a large-scale lantern show illuminating the night sky from the 14th to the 16th days will attract more than 10,000 tourists from Beijing, Tianjin, and North China's Hebei province to the county to witness the splendid colorful lanterns. To welcome the Lantern Festival on Saturday, some tourists took their family members to enjoy the happiness of the festival and to experience the lively atmosphere where 30 sets of colorful lanterns and over 55,000 red lanterns were equipped and prepped for the night. In Hebei's capital, Shijiazhuang City, more than 30 sets of extraordinary handmade lanterns decorated the inner city lake with different kinds of shapes such as dragon lanterns, rooster lanterns, and fish lanterns. Additionally, the lantern show in Bayaner in North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region have arranged 55 sets of lanterns made by more than 200 craftsmen, while in Tian City, East China's Shandong province, colorful lanterns have also decorated a 5,600-long corridor which sent best wishes to the 56 ethnic minorities in China. The annual Lantern Festival marks the end of the Lunar New Year celebrations and is one of the most important dates in the lunar calendar. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani welcomed Sweden's Prime Minister Stefan Löfven to Tehran for the first bilateral talks to be carried out by the Swedish leader in Iran. Löfven thanked the Rouhani for his warm welcome, saying it was a great honor to visit his country. The meeting between the two leaders is aimed to boost relations after the signing of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action nuclear deal, which is beginning to re-establish ties with the West. Delegates from both countries were present at a media conference to outline the main aims of the bilateral talks. Löfven stressed the importance of a good relationship between Sweden and Iran, especially in areas concerning trade and international security. The Swedish Prime Minister is scheduled to discuss issues of mutual interest with Iranian officials over the course of his 3-day visit. Thousands of followers of Muqtada al-Sadr took to the streets in Baghdad in response to the Shiite clerics' demand to press for changes to the Electoral Commission and law of elections. The demonstrators, who gathered in Al-Tahrir Square in the Iraqi capital, also called for the expulsion of corrupt officials from government offices and chanted "No, no for Israel" and "Yes for Iraq." One of the protesters said the Electoral Commission was the core of corruption and that people at the rally demanded it be changed. The supporters of al-Sadr have been protesting regularly since April 2016 when thousands stormed the heavily fortified Green Zone in the heart of Baghdad that houses government buildings and broke into the parliament building, protesting entrenched corruption, exacerbated by a deepening financial crisis and the fight against Islamic State. On March 31, 2016, al-Sadr called on his supporters to end their sit-in, but to continue peaceful protests in all Iraqi provinces every Friday. Opposition legislators protested outside Venezuela's Supreme Court, calling on justices to move forward on regional and national elections. The small group held signs and chanted "Elections now" as soldiers kept an eye on the demo. The protests remained peaceful, but tensions were high as recusants and government supporters exchanged words. With many of Venezuela's 30 million people skipping meals, unable to pay soaring prices for basic goods, and facing long lines for scarce subsidized products, President Nicolas Maduro, who won a 2013 election to succeed Chavez, has become deeply unpopular. Polls showed a majority of Venezuelans wanted a referendum last year, which could have brought his rule to an early end and sparked a presidential vote. But compliant courts and election authorities thwarted the move, alleging fraud in signature collections. The opposition Democratic Unity Coalition is demanding dates for regional elections that are supposed to happen this year, and also urging Maduro to hold a new presidential ballot. Maduro's 6-year term is due to end in early 2019. On to our national news. Canadian who disappeared from Vancouver in 2012 turns up 6,500 miles away, walking barefoot in Amazon. Havana International Book Fair kicks off with Canada as a featured country and a tribute to Fidel Castro. Freezing rain, snow batter parts of Canada, and Canada reintroduces bison to its oldest national park. A Canadian man who had been missing for 5 years has been found in Brazil's Amazon, more than 10,400 kilometers away from where he disappeared. Anton Pilipa, now 39, went missing from his Vancouver home in 2012. In the years since, he has crossed into South America, reportedly barefoot and with just the clothes on his back. A Canadian-born Brazilian police officer had spotted the man walking down a dirt track in late November with no shoes on, wearing just shorts and a vest, and unable to speak Portuguese or Spanish, according to Brazilian authorities. Pilipa had no passport or ID on him, but a search on international databases connected the missing man to his family back in Canada in late December. According to reports, the Canadian national who suffers from schizophrenia was flown back to Vancouver earlier this week, where he has reunited with his family. In an interview with Brazilian media, the Canadian national reportedly survived by picking fruits and berries, going through rubbish bins for foods, and relying on the kindness of strangers. The 2017 edition of the Cuban International Book Fair is paying tribute to the late former president and revolutionary leader Fidel Castro, honoring his contributions to the island's culture and literature months after he passed away. The literary event will present a collection of 30 books dedicated to the historical leader of the Cuban Revolution, as well as a symposium on Fidel's contribution to literature and his reading habits. Canada is a featured country this year, and so prominently displayed at the fair was a Canada Pavilion, where Canada's Director of Global Affairs for Central America and Caribbean, Isabelle Berard, highlighted the country's close relationship with Cuba. President of the Cuban Book Institute, Juan Rodriguez, said the special collection based on Fidel Castro's life and had been prepared for the leader's 90th birthday, which took place on August 13th of last year, months before he died. Rodriguez affirmed Castro had been one of the greatest promoters of the FIL, attending inaugural events or spending long meetings with intellectuals from around the world while it was on. 4 million books from different Cuban and foreign authors will be printed for the fair, while 700 new publications will be featured. Castro died on November 25, 2016, aged 90, and was honored by tens of thousands of Cubans who poured onto the streets. The event included a stately procession of the revolutionary leader's ashes to Santiago in the east. Freezing rain and snow hit various parts of Canada in the past few days, causing blackouts and impeding traffic. Thick ice has covered Toronto since a heavy rain hit the city. The rain also caused blackouts in 49 places around the city, affecting over 20,000 households and resulting in the closure of some schools. The extreme weather also interrupted traffic, such as causing ice to form on tram wires. The local weather department has warned residents that the daytime temperature might dive to minus 22 degrees Celsius. In Chilliwack, 100 kilometers east of Vancouver, the city received 77 centimeters of snow in just 3 days, equivalent to its yearly snowfall average. Canada's meteorological authorities say more rain and snow are expected in the coming days. Parks Canada has reintroduced a herd of Plains bison to the country's oldest national park in Banff, Alberta, more than 130 years after the iconic North American animal last graced the eastern slopes of the Canadian Rockies. The conservation team moved 16 bison from a protected herd in central Alberta into an enclosed pasture in Banff National Park in the west of the province last week. The herd will stay under observation in the remote Panther Valley until summer of 2018, when the animals will be released into the full 1,189 square kilometers reintroduction zone in the park's eastern valleys. Parks Canada said bisons were once dominant grazers and that bringing them back would restore their missing role in Banff's ecosystem. 10 pregnant female bison and 6 young bulls were disease tested and radi-collared before being herded into 5 shipping containers and driven 400 kilometers across Alberta by truck. The conservation team taped rubber hoses to their horns to prevent the animals injuring each other while in transit. Since the Panther Valley is not accessible by road, officials attached the shipping containers by long line to a helicopter and flew them in one at a time for the last 25 kilometers. Vast bison herds of up to 30 million animals once migrated freely across North America. The animal was nearly hunted to extinction, and rangers estimate bisons have not grazed in Banff National Park since before it was established in 1885. Bison have great spiritual meaning for North America's Aboriginal groups, having once provided an important source of food, clothing, and shelter. The reintroduction also coincides with the 150th anniversary of Canada's 1867 Confederation into Federal Union. Coming up, Kathleen Cruz for entertainment this week. Jeanette Duazo reporting on the snowstorm in Victoria. Kara Kabusau for a feature on MacArthur Glen designer outlets. All these when we come back. Welcome back. You are still watching Eagle News International. I'm Arnie Aquino, reporting from Steveston Village in Richmond, British Columbia. Now in other news, here's Kathleen Cruz for entertainment this week.
Hi everyone, you are still watching Eagle News International and my name is Kathleen Chris, your showbiz reporter for entertainment this week. A couple of weeks ago, the prestigious event Miss Universe just crowned their Miss Universe of 2017. But first of all, we would like to congratulate Miss Pia Wurtzbach of the Philippines for having an amazing reign as the Miss Universe of 2016. France! Iris Metenier of France celebrated her victory last January 30 after winning the Miss Universe pageant in Manila. The 24-year-old from Paris won the crown in a 3-hour show in the Philippine capital that focused on diversity and overcoming life struggles, besting 85 hopefuls from all over the world. Metenier, who is pursuing a degree in dental surgery, won the 65th edition of the annual competition hosted for the third time by the Philippines. I am very proud to be able to bring this crown back to France. Honestly, I still have difficulties to understand and realize that I am Miss Universe, but I am really looking forward to going back to France to show you this crown and to thank you all for unwavering support since the beginning of this adventure. And I'm really proud to represent France and Miss Universe, she told journalists during the post-coronation news conference. Raquel Pellissier of Haiti is the first runner-up, while Andrea Tovar of Colombia placed second runner-up. 13 contestants were picked for the swimsuit round of the finals after a preliminary competition last week before being pruned for 9 for the evening gown segment and then to 6. Rounding out to the top 6 were Maxine Medina of Philippines, Chalita Susain of Thailand, and Mary Esther Ware of Kenya. Meanwhile, pop superstar Beyonce and her husband, rap star and entrepreneur Jay-Z, announced to the public that they will be expecting twins, sending social media into meltdown. We would like to share our love and happiness, Beyonce posted on her Instagram page. We have been blessed 2 times over. We are incredibly grateful that our family will be growing by 2, and we thank you all for all your wishes. The announcement came with a photo of Crazy in Love singer posing in lingerie and veil with a noticeable baby bump. The news became the top trending item on Twitter with more than 500,000 tweets in the first hour. The birth of the couple's first baby, Blue Ivy, caused a paparazzi storm in 2012 with New York's Lenox Hill Hospital shutting down part of its maternity wing to accommodate music's royal couple. Beyonce did not say when the twins were due to be born, nor did she give any details about her pregnancy. Beyonce has leading 9 nominations at the Grammy Awards on February 10, mostly for Lemonade, and would be expected to perform. She is also due to headline a concert at the Coachella Music Festival in Southern California in April. And that's all for entertainment this week from Western Canada Bureau. My name is Kathleen Cruz and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Kathleen. Now here's Jeanette Duazo for a report on the snowstorm in Victoria, British Columbia.
Environment Canada have issued a winter storm warning. It's for the entire British Columbia south coast from Victoria to the lower mainland. That means Metro Vancouver and surrounding area up to the Fraser Canyon. Fraser Canyon is about 98 kilometers from Vancouver. So the storm warning includes high winds, snow, and freezing rain. And it will last for about 18 hours starting now, Wednesday afternoon to Thursday. So Victoria is expected to get 10 centimeters of snow, and other areas in higher elevations are expected to get more. So the freezing rain is the more concerning and dangerous part of this warning. It is moisture condensed from atmospheric vapor that falls to earth in drops or rain that freezes on impact to form a coating of clear ice or glazed on the ground and on exposed objects. So it is expected to pose hazard to transportation or property. So I don't know if you could see, right behind me is one of the main roads here in Victoria.
There's no way I can get out tonight or up here. I'll just have to run home.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a phone number? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So here we are.
But I gotta.
Those are people on the bus. They have to get off and start walking. Yeah. So that bus is stuck. So at the moment, it's snowy, heavy at times, mixed with freezing rain, changing to rain this evening. The temperature right now is -2 degrees Celsius and will rise to +3 by the morning. So the forecast for Thursday and Friday is periods of rain, temperatures low at 3 degrees and high of 8 degrees Celsius. Hi, this is the day after the winter storm yesterday. So today is Thursday and the forecast would be rain today and tomorrow. So by tomorrow these snows will probably be gone, and as you can see, the road has been kept all night to be clear, and so there's no problems with the traffic and accidents and whatnot. This is Jeanette Tuaso from Victoria, Western Canada. I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Jeanette. Now here's Cara Kabusao for a feature on MacArthur Glen Designer Outlets in Richmond, British Columbia.
We are here in MacArthur Glen Designer Outlet, an award-winning outlet mall in Richmond, British Columbia, located just outside Vancouver International Airport. Let's check it out!
Opened last July 9, 2015, the MacArthur Glen Designer Outlet Center at Vancouver Airport in Richmond, BC was named as the best outlet center in the world at MAPIC. Other awards bagged included the Best Redeveloped Shopping Center, Best Retail Urban Project, and Best New Shopping Center. Approximately 160,000 people visited the mall during its first 4 days, making it the most successful MacArthur Glen Center opening in the world. Location and accessibility are the driving factors of the mall's success. It's located within close proximity to a major metropolitan area's downtown core and is immediately adjacent to rail rapid transit. Total retail space measures 240,000 square feet with 2,000 parking spaces. A total of 50 stores are available, and a second phase will add an additional 135,000 square feet of retail space. The center will be open Mondays to Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Reporting for EBC Western Canada Bureau from Richmond, British Columbia, I am Cara Kabusao. I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Cara. We've reached the end of our program today. Thank you for watching another segment of Eagle News International. From the Western Canada Bureau, I'm Arnie Aquino. I'm 1 with 25.